Louisiana beer reviews. It's about 7:58 a.m. and we're looking at Catahoula Common. Yeah, you can hear the sirens. Said a little prayer for whoever's in trouble. There's always something around here. On that highway, U.S. Highway Route 61. Gnarly Barley. This is the first beer I've had from them. Now, I have been up to Hammond, Louisiana so many times and passed in front of this brewery, and I saw the owner in there working. But I never did stop for a tour because it almost always conflicts with the baseball schedule, the college baseball schedule, so I just don't go. But I would like to see it. It's a very small brewery. They have 3 beers out right now. This 5% beer, a 6.2 and a 6.6. And there's some retired ones they've made. They don't have the capacity to have too big of a lineup, I don't think, but they kind of rotate it. So, here we go. The company was started way back in 2014. A man and his wife. And, it's a steam beer. They don't call it steam beer. They got to call it California Common because Anchor copyrighted that steam beer name. Some smoke. It's a lager, but it's brewed at higher temperatures. And sort of in a cream ale type way, I guess you'd say. Off-white head. Man, the sirens. Something's... I mean, they'll have some bad wrecks. Hazy. Golden. Yeah, it looks like Anchor Steam, to tell you the truth. And Anchor Steam was introduced in 1896. Then the company went out of business for a little while, and it was reintroduced in 1971. And they started to sell it as a craft beer, and that would be the first craft, really the first craft beer in U.S. history 45 years ago. The sun is about to come above, it's just coming above that roof peak right there. So 22 international bitterness units, 5% alcohol like Budweiser. They use 2-row barley malt, Crystal 15, and Carapils barley malt. The hops are Willamette and Cascade. There's not even enough reviews on Beer Advocate to give it a score, but the average of what they have, less than 10 reviews, is like 75 out of 100. Rate beer, they hate it because they're saying it's a 45 out of 100 and a 49 out of 100 for the style. And this is the first video review for this beer in the world. Okay. Well, it smells malty, and you could fool somebody in making them think it was Anchor Steam. You could say, you want some Anchor Steam? And then go in the kitchen and pour it and bring it out. And they'd say, oh yeah, I love Anchor Steam. Anchor Steam was one of the first craft beers I ever had. And then in 2006, I had it on draft at an Italian/seafood restaurant at Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. And you say, well, that's a tourist trap area. Well, I was a tourist, so I didn't mind. All right. In fact, I really liked that area. It was cool. It used to be some rundown warehouse district. And that Dungeness crab was so good, and that draft Anchor Steam was so good, and that coffee was so good, and that Russian immigrant waitress was so good of a waitress. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a rich aroma, but it's not a strong aroma. Yeah, malty with a hop bite at the end. It was $4.99 for this bottle. Anchor Steam 6-packs around here are about $8.99, $9.99. The body's medium, not thin. The finish is pretty crisp. It's pretty refreshing. It's an easygoing beer. When you look at these California Common / steam beers, they are more like your macro regular beers probably than any of your other craft beers, I guess. They make some, gee whiz, they make some, this is bad, man. I'm gonna hear about this on the news. They make, plus we have the intersection with US 51, and then 51 intersects with I-10, Interstate 10. It seems like there's a lot of problems with that. People are, well, I mean, why wouldn't they have a lot of wrecks? People don't look at the road. I drive around everywhere, people are looking down. They're looking down at something. And police too. I see sheriff's deputies and police always looking down. They'll be on duty somewhere looking down. What is this down here that's making them want to look down the whole time? You say, well, how could they have these attacks against people by gunmen if there's police there? Well, if police are looking down and not, you know, around and not aware of what's going on, well, why wouldn't they have that? And why wouldn't people wreck all the time if they're looking down? I'll give you one more little quick story. I was on Interstate 10 eastbound going into New Orleans 2 weekends ago, right? So I'm going to the Tulane football game. And they had announced all week, days and days, they're going to close down Interstate 10 because they're building this new overpass. 610's closed down, so you got to take 10 to go around. Can't take the bypass. So there's big signs. Lanes narrowing and it's coming together, and you have to go on 10. And you know you can't take 610. Oh man, when I got to that reroute area, there was like 4 different little wrecks, and I said, I know what happened. These people are like habitual. They are used to just zooming on through as much as they can, and they didn't realize it was merging in, and they looked up, bam, and they hit somebody because you know they're looking down at this whatever they're looking down at. Yeah, the cream ales and the craft lagers and the craft hybrid lagers like this, they're very similar to your, well, regular lagers. You say, well, I know that this is way better than Coors Banquet. I mean, that's a macro adjunct lager, and it's $4.79 for a 6-pack of pint cans. This is $4.99 for 122-ounce bottle. This is obviously much better. You might say that. I probably wouldn't agree with that. Like a major event. Okay, so okay, so like the Coors Banquet, I would rate it an A-. I mean, I like Coors Banquet. I think it's well made. It's like always perfect. You know what I mean? It's like always perfect. Can't get a bad Coors Banquet. I mean, unless you get an old one that's spoiled, but you know, if you get it within the freshness date, it's always like perfected. And this one is like that, perfected. And I would say they're on par, both in the A-. You could argue most excellent, but at least excellent. You know, they're really enjoyable beers. You say, well, you're saying that Coors Banquet is a better value because it's $4.79 a 6-pack of pint cans. And this is only a 1.5-pint bottle. I think you could probably make that assumption. But if you want to go around paying $4.99 for a bomber, go ahead. I mean, I don't typically do it because usually when I do that, or you know, pay all this money, it's pretty good. It's never worth the money. What about Chimay Grand Reserve? That's very expensive for a bottle. Yeah, it is worth it. Yeah, now that's worth it. Certainly you should try this. It has some interesting lemony hop notes. Not unlike Staropramen. It's even developing a lemony aroma. Not unlike Pilsner Urquell. I mean, this is no Pilsner Urquell. You're saying, that's macro! And yeah, it's a macro, and it's pretty awesome. And this is only 4%, 4.4% alcohol. Alright, so Laissez les Bon Ton Relais. An excellent beer. You know, factoring out the price, it's an excellent beer. Check it out. You'll like it, more than likely. And I'm going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to New Orleans, and when you drive, hey, look at the road. Wouldn't hurt.